welcome to this week's first stream, and we are solving puzzles yet again, and it's black to win. So right now white is threatening our rook on d8, but we are also threatening his knight on b3. But I believe queen e3 wins the rook on. Yeah, I think this should be easy. Queen e3. The king has to be on the last rank, and then okay, no, it's not that easy because queen e3. So queen e3, if king h1, then queen takes c1 check, and then knight takes f. Knight take queen takes c1, knight takes c1, and then rook d1 is made. But queen e3, king f1. So let's see if we play queen e3, king f1. And if we take the rook, knight takes, rook d1 check. The king has ample of squares to go, e3, g3 also, and I don't think so. A rook and a bishop against a queen in the endgame will be enough. I mean, I do have the light bishop with me, light square bishop, but it will be too late if I play queen e3, king f1, and then if I play a5, trying to bring my bishop to a6, then my rook on d8 is still hanging. The thing is that all the white pieces are hanging, but so are my pieces, so it's not exactly it's more of a equal position for both the sides. So queen e3, king f1, and then what? Okay, so no, but then the knight can take it, right? Yeah. So I was thinking queen e3, king f1, and then rook d2, but then knight takes d2 is possible. Okay. Also, I was thinking about queen e3, king f1, and if I play a5, then he can capture on d8, and then he has. If I move my king to g7, that's the only square. Then he doesn't have a lot of checks available. But then he can play b5 himself, shutting my bishop completely. proceed. Okay. Queen e3, king f1, and then what? I don't see anything after that. So maybe there's some other move apart from queen e3. But since the puzzle is for black to win, I guess it has to be queen e3. That is, that I'm pretty sure. But once queen e3 has been played, king f1, I don't see a follow-up. I mean, I can continue with queen d3 check. Hmm. So even after that, there is no way to fork the pieces. And also my opponent is up by 2 pawns. So I guess I'm going to play queen e3 anyhow, because if king f1 I can continue, and if king e1, then what? If king e1, and then I'll simply play queen e3. So the point is that my opponent would not be willing to go for a draw, because he's up by 2 pawns and his pawn structure is much better than what the black player has. So I'm going to take that risk and play queen e3 here. Okay. And if I take the rook now, rook, queen c1, knight f1, rook d1, it doesn't work because the king has a lot of square. He can go to e2 or f2, but the point is, do I have anything? Now the problem is, if I play queen d3, he can play king f2. Queen d3, king f2, and he's trying to get out of that diagonal. And my rook on d8 is hit. So thinking about rook d2, knight d2, then what? And my rook cannot leave d8 because, okay, yeah, I mean I have protection over c8, so that is not an issue, but I'm thinking about Rook d3. Yeah, let's see. Rook d3. How would White respond now? Rook d3. His knight is hit twice. His rook will be then left to be captured by my queen if the knight ever moves or is captured. Rook d3, rook c7, let's say, counter attacking. But then I can play rook d1 check, oh, that's fine. I think apart from rook d3, I don't see anything else. Because there are no checks available because my queen covers g5. So rook d3 looks good. Because if I play queen d3, king f2, and then he's trying to dash via g3. So let's just see. If king d3, if rook d3, how can white respond? I think there are no checks available. So yeah, and I'm then threatening his knight, and if the rook moves, yeah, I'll still play rook d3. Let's see. Oh, that's not the right move. Let's have a look at the solution now. That's it. But how do I win now? How is it? Oh, okay. Because I'm threatening the knight, so the knight has to be saved. I see. Nice. We need 3 up, but what about rook d3? How would white respond if I play rook d3 here? Rook e1. Got it. I didn't see this one. Nice. No issues. Let's have a look at our next puzzle. Okay, so it's white to win. Let's see what's black threatening. Black is threatening my queen on f4. So yeah, my queen on f4 is hit. And it's white to win. Okay. My rook on e1 is hit. The pawn on my knight, most importantly, my knight is hit. It's undefended right now. And so is my queen on f4. So these are the variables that we have in the equation. Also, my king's position is a little weak, considering black has this bishop on b7. I'm just thinking about if there are any forks at this end. So let's say queen takes queen takes c4. Then instead of capturing my queen first, he would capture my rook first with check on e1. And then when I recapture, then only he'll capture my queen on c4. So the idea is that we need to make sure that, right now black's rook on e8 is hit by my knight on f6. I'm trying to maintain that pressure somehow if I can. I'm thinking about queen d6, which saves the knight, which reinforces the attack on e8 rook. And let's say then rook takes e1, rook d takes e1, and then I'm threatening him to play queen e7 check, and that would be mate essentially. So queen d6 is one candidate move that I have. And with queen d6, my d5 pawn is also protected twice. Queen d6. Let's just see. Queen d6. But then he can play rook d8. Yeah, queen d6, rook d8. How do I respond? Oh yeah, then I can take the rook on e8. Rook takes e6, knight takes e6 with check, and I win the queen. So yeah, queen d6. I'm threatening to exchange rook, to exchange my knight for the rook. So, do I have anything else apart from queen d6? I mean, if I take, you can take my queen back. So there's some pressure on the queen. I think queen d6 should be the move which saves the house. Queen d6, bishop takes. I take with my knight. Queen d6, bishop takes d5, knight takes d5, right? Yeah. I'm going to go for queen d6. Let's see how can black respond. Queen d6. How would black respond after queen d6? And if they play queen c7, I take the queen first and then the rook on e8. Yeah. I'm going to go for queen d6. Hey, am I audible now? Is my voice clear? Hello? So queen d6 is what I'm going to play. I believe. And if the king moves, then I'm going to take the rook anyhow. So let's see if queen d6 is the move to go. Yeah. Okay. Now I have a couple of options. What about queen d7? Then I win the bishop on b. It's not winning because he can take my knight, yeah. Uh, hmm. And if he takes my rook, no, I mean a rook is protected, but let's say if rook takes, e2, queen takes e2. Nice. How do I proceed further? What about rook c8? Hits a queen, forcing black to make an exchange on e1. Then I capture back e1, and I'm threatening my queen back to e7. I think rook c8. I mean rook c1. How does white respond? I mean, how does black respond? I'm so sorry. Yeah. So queen c1. Rook c1. If the rook exchange takes place, I'm still threatening queen e7 mate. So the black queen will move, and then I can just, okay, let's say the queen moves, and then what? Yeah, makes sense. I mean, let's say the queen goes to, let's say a4. Now both my rooks are hanging. Okay, then I can simply play rook b7 check, rook c7 check. After king takes, after rook c7, queen c7, king f6, I take the rook back. And then, yeah, I'll be up the exchange, I believe. So, rook c1, queen d3, I bring my other rook, my e rook. Oh no, but then he can hit. The problem is if I play rook c1, he can play queen d3, hitting f3. Rook c1, queen d3, rook b7, rook b7, queen c7, check, king f6. Okay. Rook c1, queen d3, rook b7, queen, rook c7, queen c7, king f6. And then my rook on e1 is hanging, and my pawn on f3 is also hanging. Okay, this is tough because I can't see the follow-up after. Rook c1, queen d3. So let's say rook c1 is not the move, then is there anything else in the situation? I mean, I have a check on d7, but king f6 straight away, and that does not produce anything for me. And with the rook on second rank, the moment queen f3 takes place, it's checkmate on the next move if I don't have anything else in the position. So how should I proceed further? So I'm thinking about rook c1, queen d3, and rook. Then the problem is, yeah, that my c1 rook will be captured with a check. Hey, but I can play knight d7, threatening knight d5, making him basically a force exchange on e1. So I'm thinking about, yeah, knight d6. What about knight d6, threatening knight d5? If it, let's say, captures on e1 with check, I capture on e1 with check. So let me just calculate. Knight d6, rook e1, check, rook e1. I'm threatening knight e5. Also, I'm threatening queen e7, followed with knight f6. Yeah. So knight d6 is an interesting move. Knight d6, queen d5 cannot be played because my rook is there. Hi Smith. We are yet again solving puzzles. What do you think? How should white continue in this position? I feel like playing knight d6 here. Knight d7, my bad. Knight d7 is what I think should be the move, because then there are some serious threats in the air from white. So let's go for knight d7, I believe. Yeah, knight d7. Let's see. That's the incorrect move. Let's go back, have a look at the solution. Queen d6, rook e2, knight h7. Okay. But okay, and what about knight d6, knight d7? How would black respond? King g8. But then, oh, yeah, he would just get away. Nice. Let's go for our third problem of the day. Okay, so it's black to draw. So right now white is threatening to promote his queen on the next move. I have two checks available in the position. Queen c5 check. And queen e1 check. Now queen e1 looks better because I already have my pawn on b5 control, g5 controlling the dark squares. So queen, my bad, I was looking at the board the wrong way. So queen d1 is what I'm aiming at. Yeah. But after queen d1, black has three options. Queen d1, he can go to e4, f2 or g3. So let's say if he goes to g3 first, after queen d1, king g3, then I do have some checks available in the position, but queen d1, king f2, and then I can go for queen d4 check. Queen e3 is possible, but then I can, yeah, then he can bring his queen if he plays to f2. And what about queen f4? That gives black only one option, that is king e2. Okay, let's see. Feel like queen f4 is better here, but let's just explore other solutions as well. I also have queen d3. I think queen d3 is better here because that does not allow white to get away with, even if he involves his queen. Let's go for queen d3, and that is the correct move. And now I can go to d2, I believe. Yeah, and now I have to continue this pattern. Now I'll go to c4. Yeah, let's move on to our next puzzle. So that's the first victory for the day. Okay, it's white to win. So let's see what is black threatening. Black is threatening our queen on g7. Okay. And now I can, okay, so now so black king is a little weak here. Now I'm thinking about moves such as queen g4. It's not possible because there's rook on g8. The problem is that my queen is kind of stuck here, right? Because the g file is completely open against my king. So that is also something I need to take into consideration. And I don't have a light square bishop. Hmm. I mean, the only check that I have in position is rook e7, but white can easily capture it with the queen. I'm thinking about knight d5, rook g7. Rook e7, king e7, knight e7 is there. So queen e7, king e, yeah, knight e7, king e7. Then we take the rook on g7. But he can play rook g6, which is an intermediate move, and then both my pieces are under attack. But then I can play knight f5, which defends everything, right? Yeah. Okay. So the idea is to play rook e7 check. If queen e7, then knight e7. Yeah, I'm thinking about knight d5, king g, rook g7, rook e7 check, queen e7, king e7. Now knight e7. My knight on e7 is it. If king e7, then we simply take the rook. But if rook g6, knight f5, and then I think the rook moves away, and it's still a decent position for white. But knight e5, rook g7, rook e7. The king has c8 and d6. he goes to d6, then we can bring our other rook. But I also have queen d4 is there. I'm thinking about rook takes c7. If king takes, then we have bishop g5, and then both our queens are hanging. But then I would be sacrificing my rook for a knight. So let me see, knight d5, which is, I'm not sure if that's the correct move. I'm just calculating. Knight d5, rook g7, knight e7 check, and now the king can go to c8 or d6. If he goes to d6, or let's say he goes to c8, that's the safest option. Then rook takes c8, still he can go to rook b8, king b8, my bad, and then what? And I'm thinking about queen e5 or queen d4. These are the two other moves which I'm considering. But in both those cases, bishop f6 would come. White to win. Okay, I also have another idea. Rook d5, rook g7, knight e7, and then I will be threatening my other rook. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one. Let's see. Knight d5, rook g7, knight e7, and let's say he attacks my bishop with rook g6, then rook d1. But then he can also defend via rook d6. Oh no, you know what? I think I'm going to go with this one. I think knight d5 is the move to be played, and then I'll take. Okay, and then I'll just bring my other rook to d1, and that should be it. Yeah. So it's black to win. Let's see what white is threatening. White is threatening my rook on g7. my pawn on f5. And what am I threatening? I'm threatening is b3, g3 pawn. I have a battery on the g file. So the first move that comes to my mind is queen g3, king takes. No, that's not sufficient, I believe, because I don't have enough resources to reach my opponent's king because my rook is pinned. I'm thinking knight f4, and let's say the e rook comes to g1. Yeah, that's not good. But the bishop on d3 is loose. I'm trying to focus on that. And now f4 certainly looks interesting in the position, because if I play f4, pawn takes, knight f4, let's say e rook comes to g1, then rook d3 check, king e2, I take the queen. If rook takes rook queen, then I take his queen back, his rook back, and then I think I'll be in a better position, I believe. But after f4, he has a lot of ways to defend g3. The first way is obviously to bring the e rook. The reason I'm asking him to thinking that he'll bring his e rook is because his h rook is already controlling the semi-open file, so there's no point in bringing that. So yeah, f4, e rook comes to g1. But what about 95? Because of 95, then queen g3 check. No, but then I guess I think I still feel like playing f4. Because that would open up some attack against my opponent's king. Because if 95, then he doesn't even need to capture, and I cannot capture because the d2 knight covers the f3 knight. But what about knight f4 directly hitting the d3, and if pawn takes, then let's say queen g2, king d3, and then I don't get anything, right? So knight f4 directly might not be a good option. Though it looks tempting, but I don't think I get anything out of that. I think it's all about the bishop on d3 because it's hanging. Because other than that, I don't think black. I mean, black does have some counterplay against his king on the g file, but right now it's blocked by its own pieces. f4 is my candidate move, definitely. But after f4, I'm not sure how white would continue. I'm sure there are a lot of strong moves, but and I'm also not clear what's the idea with f4. That I mean, one basic idea is to take with my queen. I think I'm going to go for f4. Yeah, I'm going to go for f4. Let's see. And that is not the correct solution. Let's have a look at the correct solution then. It did come to my mind. Nice. Let's see what's the follow-up after f4. Rook eg1 as planned. And I capture. And I was thinking if rook g3 I will capture like this. King g3 and then knight e5 check. Bishop g6. Oh, okay. King f2 or king f4, yeah. Okay, I didn't see this deep. I didn't expect bishop g6 to be played. After this, king e3. Then maybe I can win a pawn here because, but then he can just capture. Oh, got it. Okay, I guess that's about it for the day. I guess it was more than enough for me to handle. Maybe I'll stream later in the night. But for the moment, that's about it. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, then do subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next stream. I guess I'll be streaming today at night as well, so I would say stick around to my channel, and I'll see you there. Till then, goodbye.